Coming up on this week's edition of ATV News.
The Utah Supreme Court was here on campus for the first time and with an Aggie on the bench. We'll show you why they came.
Mitt Romney is running for United States Senate. Why he came to Utah State.
Would you rather cast a vote or give your signature to elect your next representative? We'll show you what caucus leaders had to say about the new initiative.
The gymnastic team tumbled their way to victory this weekend and broke all sorts of records doing it. I'll show you which ones coming up in sports.
Yesterday was the first day of spring, but in Utah weather, that could mean anything, especially this week.
All that and more, this is ATV News. Welcome to this week's edition of ATV News. I'm Braden Clark.
And I'm Erin Cox. If you were heading south last Friday, it probably took a bit longer to get out of town than expected. Here's why. A driver was heading south on Highway 89 when he says a blue SUV swerved into his lane and hit the left side of his car.
A little shaken up, sore on my left side, about it.
No one was taken to the hospital. Police spent over an hour moving traffic away from the accident on the busy road while tow trucks hauled the vehicles away. It may be springtime, but getting in a car accident is definitely still a possibility. Drive safe, Aggies.
For the first time here in Logan, the Utah Supreme Court held an open session here at Utah State. On Monday, the court heard two appeals, one about the non-disclosure of a potential conflict of interest in juveniles, conviction from 2014, and another talked about what the word employee means in relation to unions. The audience says it was interesting to see the state's highest court in action.
There was at one moment where I actually thought, gosh, I might have liked to have been a judge at some point during my life.
The court invited Logan's 1st District Judge Brian Cannell to sit in on the first case because Judge John Pierce recused himself. For the newest Utah Supreme Court justice, the trip up to Utah State was also a visit to her alma mater's main campus. Justice Paige Peterson began her college career at USU Eastern and furthered her education, which opened doors for her around the world, something USU students say they found interesting.
I knew that she had tremendous international experience and that she had served on a tribunal in The Hague, and I found her to be fascinating.
Justice Peterson was a legal officer at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia at The Hague in the Netherlands. Governor Mitt Romney is looking to secure his nomination as the Republican nominee as the United States Senator from Utah. He visited our campus hoping to encourage people to come out to his Republican caucuses so he can secure his position. Romney spoke to political science class in Old Maid Wednesday morning, discussing matters related to Washington and Utah. Included in the discussion were talks on Utah lands, agricultural issues, immigration, and how it relates to farming and economic development for Utah. After hearing Senator Orrin Hatch wasn't running for re-election, Romney said the current Utah senator was a big reason he is running for the Senate position.
He encouraged me to run for Senate, and I think by virtue of the relationships I have with the White House, with the President, as well as with some 40 senators who I've campaigned with, I have the capacity to do more for Utah than the average junior senator.
According to the polls done on January 15th to January 18th, Romney has a 45% lead on Democratic candidate Jenny Wilson.
And those who will vote in November on whether or not Romney will be an actual candidate for the open Senate seat met last night for the first caucus meeting this year. I went to both Democrat and Republican caucuses to see what your local leaders had on their agenda. They were pretty fired up at the Democratic caucus.
A good turnout.
And it wasn't just Democrats who came.
A lot of Republicans here tonight that said they were fed up with the Republican Party, and so they came to join our caucus tonight.
A meeting held to elect local leaders who will vote in primary elections for candidates like Jeff Dransfield.
I'm running for U.S. Senate because I realize that the power is in us.
This November.
This is an important place that it gets started.
I know the Republicans don't think we stand a chance, and that's fine, but you see here tonight an energy and just positivity, and that's how we're going to run our campaigns, and that's how we'll win our campaigns.
Come down here to this table.
And though the Republican turnout wasn't as big as Nibley Precinct leader Jeremiah Dersch was hoping for, Dersch says it was still a successful caucus meeting.
I think it is very beneficial. I like being able to have my neighbors who have my same values and thoughts to go and try to vet candidates and decide who they want to be on the primary ballot.
So I started as an intern at Utah State, go Aggies.
Talking with Casey Snyder, a potential candidate for the primary elections to fill Representative Kurt Webb's seat in the state legislature, says the caucus system gives a chance for regular people to participate in politics.
Without the caucus convention system, I wouldn't be participating. Legislating, representing your friends and your neighbors is very much about service. Hopefully I can sort of give back to the community.
The next local meeting will be the county convention held Saturday, April 14th. And also discussed at the Republican caucus last night, would you rather cast a vote or sign your signature to elect your next representative? A Senate bill signed by Governor Gary Herbert in 2014 allows candidates to reach primary elections either through the traditional convention process or through gathering signatures. Getting signatures gives a way so candidates don't have to speak at conventions and don't even need to be nominated by the party to win an election. It's what helped Senator Mike Lee beat the three-term incumbent Senator Bob Bennett in 2010, and it's how Congressman John Curtis defeated candidate Chris Herrod in the most recent election. The Keep My Voice initiative is aimed at repealing that bill, or in other words, getting rid of signature gathering.
We can't be forced to accept other candidates if they've signed, got it by the sign-in process. But we can say, no, we need to have conventions. We want to hear from you. We want the people to choose if you get to be on our primary ballot or not.
And though the initiative was brought up last night, a series of public hearings and the collection of over 100,000 voter signatures is required before it can be voted on in November. Moving now to other news. If you live in Logan, plans for a new program are being discussed to help you renovate and improve your home. On Tuesday, the Logan City Council discussed a 6-part plan to help improve blighted, old, and neglected areas of the town. The first part is a $1 million grant program that, if you're eligible for, could help pay for exterior and structural improvements to your home. The second changes the code violation system and includes a new employee to review the individual neighborhoods. The third would increase the fee for overcrowded living spaces from $50 to $250. The fourth requires vacant buildings to be registered and then attaches a monthly fee for vacancy, which would then increase every 6 months. The fifth would help low-income homeowners find grants and loans for renovations and improvements. And the final part would allow the city to purchase and demolish condemned properties. Mayor Holly Daines, who introduced this proposal, says this could help bring people into Logan and then stay here.
We're responding to the neighborhoods and trying to make our core neighborhoods a place where people want to move into, where they feel like the neighborhood is going to be stable and there aren't going to be problems in the neighborhood.
The council will continue workshopping this plan in their next meeting on April 3rd.
When we come back, a global issue that costs billions annually, find out if it's worth the cost.
When your first child is born, there's enough to worry about. What one USU engineer is doing to help ease the stress.
Can you concern with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Tomorrow have a good time. Seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Welcome back. Did you know that 43.8 million Americans are affected by mental illness every year? Haley Hendricks shows us how this global crisis impacts people like you.
Students are having fun taking color photos to bring attention to an issue that's as serious as black and white, and posting them on the Hope Wall to remind other students they are not alone when it comes to mental illness. The National Alliance on Mental Illness says mental health conditions are common among college students. 1 in 5 has one, and these USU students want to remind others they're not alone.
This does not define you, and everyone belongs here.
There's nothing too big to get through. You can always get through it no matter what.
We're all in this together. We're here to help, lift, and strengthen one another. You're never alone. There's always people that are there to help you.
More important than the wall itself is that students who are struggling know where they can get help now.
I remember the counselors coming into classes a couple days after, and I got angry because I was like, why didn't you tell me all this information 2 weeks ago? Like, why didn't I know how to help my friends until after there was a problem?
Rachel Fresh is scrolling through pictures on her phone and looking back on the fun times she had with 2 friends from high school, who she later lost to suicide.
Losing them made me realize that there was a problem that wasn't being addressed.
And the problem became even more real for Fresh when she came to struggle with depression.
I didn't handle it like I used to handle hard things.
Fresh says she hopes that by talking about mental health, students who struggle will learn they aren't alone, and those who don't will come to better understand how they can help. Haley Hendricks, ATV News.
Utah State offers free mental health services to students if you or someone you know is in need of help. Visit the Counseling and Psychological Services Center in the TSC.
Native Americans say a powwow is a unique experience and a great place to learn more about their culture. ATV photojournalist Shani Howard shows you the sights and sounds of the one held here on campus.
Well, the event is the 45th annual powwow event that USU has been holding for 45 years.
It's just a social event for us as Native Americans. We come together, we feast, we sing, and we dance.
And these dances, they have a meaning behind it, and each dance they do represent a music and a meaning behind their lesson.
When you hear me dancing and you hear other girls who wear this jingle dress dance, you'll hear this like a raining noise, and that's supposed to like bring healing to the mentalness and the wellness of everyone here.
What I dance is stationary, so like usually I bounce. In war and all that, the woman would like be like hiding in the bushes, helping scout out for them, for the men.
If you want to do it, just make sure you learn the lesson behind it, know the meaning behind it, and get to know what it is. The reason why we love powwow so much is because it's where you get to see family and friends come together, and you get to see lost family members, see them perform, and you get to make new friendships and new stories to tell along the way.
The Native American Student Council invites everyone who is interested to come to next year's powwow.
When your first child is born, you probably worry too much. Bronson Tykert shows you one USU engineer who developed new technology to help ease the stress.
I'm the same one.
Nathan and Sarah have 4 busy and healthy children. When their first son Hiram was born premature, their first taste of parenthood came with increased risks to their baby's health.
They had him in the neonatal intensive care unit, and it was what it was. Thankfully, he came home just a few days after, but that was just the beginning of our stress. Sarah was getting only a few hours of sleep over a span of days because she was just constantly checking on him, making sure he was breathing.
Nathan was studying electrical engineering at USU at the time. He decided to create a high-tech baby monitor for his family and other parents. Most engineers design their prototypes in labs like this, but Nate has his own Dexter's laboratory right at home.
24 breaths per minute. From this video, you can't tell anything's happening. You can't tell she's even alive or where she is. But from here, we're absolutely getting a signal. And then we combine those in a very intelligent way to get this waveform out. And we're able to mark the peaks and valleys, inhales and exhales.
And if the breathing stops for more than 20 seconds,
our software is able to alarm.
Nathan didn't stop at developing health technology for babies. It even works for big people.
The physiology is blood is pulsing through your veins, they're changing size. The light reflected from your face literally changes colors every time.
Human eyes can't detect breathing or heart rate, but this camera can. Nathan may be the CEO of his own company, but the impact he is making stands out from other engineers.
Even if it's just a small impact, but if it's significant even for one person, you know, that's great. We just like to solve problems, and I mean that's what engineering really is, right?
How come all your cars...
Bronson Teichert, ATV News.
The baby monitors can be found online and cost $250.
Wow, what incredible technology. When we come back, ATV's Bronson Tiger will have your full Cache Valley weather report.
It is currently 56 degrees.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Welcome back. ATV's weather reporter Bronson Tiger joins us here in the studio to show us what we can expect this week. Bronson, please let me know that this warm weather is going to stay.
I'm sorry, it's the first day of spring was yesterday, but it's not spring weather. And I'm going to show you more about that over here on the forecast. So you can see here on the East Coast, there was a big snowstorm that hit yesterday on the first day of spring. And that precipitation and snow is going to be hitting the East Coast late into next week. And you're going to see the same thing over here on the West Coast. But in California, you're not going to be seeing some snow. It's going to be just rain over there. And here in Utah, we're going to be seeing a little bit more precipitation as well. And that's going to be coming with some snow. Throughout the week, we're going to be seeing some light showers. There's going to be some clouds, a little bit of sun here and there, but we're not going to be seeing that nice spring weather like we're hoping for. And this weather is going to continue into next week, and I'll show you the temperatures of each day coming up in the 7-day forecast. So today, we've seen some scattered showers, and that's going to continue throughout the day. The high for today is 56, the low is 39. And tomorrow we're going to see similar weather with a high also of 56 and a low of 37. Friday is at 50. We're going to see a little bit more sun. The low is 30 Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be seeing similar weather with the temperatures in the 40s and with the low of 30. And then Monday and Tuesday, it's going to start to look a little warmer, but we're going to still be seeing that precipitation throughout next week. And so that's what our forecast is going to be looking like for next week. So I'm sorry, first day of spring was yesterday, but the weather is not looking like spring.
It looks like we're going to get a lot of rain, but at least the temperatures are warming up, right?
Exactly. Like I said, there's a little bit of snow, but the temperature is warming up. So
I was really hoping to get some, go play some baseball with my friends this weekend. But speaking of sports.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a good thing all of our sports are now outside. Coming up in sports, one gymnast was beaming when she tied a school record. I'll show you who it was.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in your face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it.
Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell him.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
Persuasive.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Chaz Ricks, and let's start off on a good note. You know the saying, sounds like a broken record? So does the USU women's gymnastics team, because that's what they did on Friday against SUU. They broke records over and over and over and over. It was the final home event of the season, and the team came vaulting their way into winning position. Madison Ward tied her career high with a score of 9.85, and Michaela Bullitt also had a career high, scoring a 9.80, causing SUU to bite the bullet. USU ended the first rotation with a 49.05 score. USU then dominated on the bars, bar none. Jasmine Estrella, whose last name means star, showed it on the bars and scored a career-high 9.925 with her routine and led the USU team to score a 49, a season high for the bar team. USU was beaming on the beams when McKinley Pavicic tied the school record with a score of 9.95 and helped her team hold on to the lead over the Thunderbirds. Finally, the audience and the judges were floored with the floor performances, won by Madison Ward, who finished with a 9.90, and one more career high was set when Emily Briones scored a 9.825. Those two helped to ward off SUU with their Brion performances. Okay, that one was stretching it. Their coach says she is happy with what they accomplished.
They're so fired up to compete every weekend, and it's just so much fun, and they did a great job tonight.
USU scored 49 or better in all four events and scored a third best team score in USU history with 196.80. The USU's gymnastic team will travel to Cedar City on Saturday and try to replicate the success they had here to make a push for regions. USU softball hosted Boise State Friday and Sunday. Friday, USU went down strike one barely with a fight, 11-1. Sunday, they lost the first game 15-6, strike two, and the final game they were beat 15-7, strike three, and USU struck out against Boise. Men's basketball will see some familiar faces absent next year. One of those faces is former head coach Tim Duryea, who was let go after 3 seasons as the head coach of USU men's basketball. He also spent 14 years as an assistant. A press release from Utah State University says a search for the new head coach will begin immediately. Thursday, D'Angelo Isby, who averaged 8.4 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 1.1 assists a game, took to his Twitter account and announced his departure from USU. Isby wrote, I want to thank God for blessing me with this opportunity to play basketball. I want to thank the coaching staff for giving me the chance to play here at Utah State. I want to thank my teammates and the fans. You have been amazing. I appreciate everyone who has supported me throughout this year. With all that being said, I have requested my release from Utah State and will not be returning. It's Mental Health Week, and one former Utah State basketball player shared his story about his struggle with mental health yesterday. Former USU basketball wingman Jalen Moore was featured on the Players Tribune yesterday, detailing his battle with anxiety. Jalen was 3 days from fulfilling his dreams of playing in the NBA for the Milwaukee Bucks when he had to make what he says was the hardest decision of his life, walking away from professional basketball. For the whole story, you can check out our Facebook page. Man, so we kind of have an awesome gymnastics team. I've been going to school for 7 years, and I've never went and watched them, and they are awesome.
Yeah, gymnastics is pretty impressive, especially because they do it for so long. It's so hard on their bodies, but they have been able to pull through, and our team has been good this year.
Yeah, it's been really impressive to watch. Thanks, Chaz. And when we come back, someone's being left out of the aviation industry. We'll show you who it is.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party in here.
It's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing,
Yeah.
is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to.
What?
Thanks for sticking around. According to the founders of Cash Makers, a company that teaches skills to kids through hands-on activities, there is a shortage of females working as pilots and mechanics in the aviation industry. Nicole Heaps joins us live from the newsroom to show you how the company is working to change that right here at Utah State. Nicole?
Thanks, Erin. Some of those with the USU Women in Aviation Society chapter mentor 12 middle school age girls about aviation. The classes run for 6 weeks and include activities that teach the girls how airplanes fly and about aircraft instruments and maintenance. And this next week, they'll be using the flight simulator, and at the end of the month, they'll get the opportunity to fly an airplane themselves. This drill is being used by one of the girls learning aircraft maintenance during a class taught by a woman with the aviation chapter. She says aviation is a male-dominant industry, and according to a 2016 study by Women in Aviation International, women make up 6% of the total pilot population.
So it's really important for girls to understand that they can be able to do this job, that they can become pilots, they can become mechanics.
Like this jet engine sound being shown to the girls, without the program, they wouldn't get to see behind the details of the math and science that make up aviation, according to a founder of Cash Makers, a company focused on giving kids hands-on learning experiences. He partnered with a pilot and the USU Women in Aviation Society chapter to make the program possible for these girls.
And this gives them an opportunity to explore what's behind airplanes and flying.
Next week, the girls get to test out a flight simulator at Utah State. And at the end of the month, here at the Logan Cache Airport, with the company of a USU flight instructor, they'll get to take control as the pilot of a real airplane. I'm really excited. Nicole Heaps, ATV News. Gail Halverson, who was a pilot and candy bomber in World War II, will speak on April 12th in the Taggart Student Center at 7 p.m. for the girls' last meeting, and anyone and everyone is welcome to attend that.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole.
Kane College of the Arts invited opera composer Lori Laitman to USU yesterday to share her story. Lori Laitman is described by Fanfare magazine as one of the most talented and intriguing of living composers. Laitman spoke on how she became a successful opera composer and even played a few of her composed songs. All are welcome to join Lori tonight at 7:30 in the Russell Performance Hall.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can watch all our latest editions of ATV News on our Facebook page.